Hey there, I'm Ashley Weber, and today we are going to be doing Yin Yoga for hangovers. And you might not know this about Yin Yoga, but it's very similar to a needleless acupuncture session. So we're going to be stimulating the kidney meridian, and we'll get to kind of detox, rinse out all those toxins. So let's get started. Today we'll start with a Thai massage influenced stretch. So we'll take our right arm and bring it across our body and take our hand to hold our opposite knee or shin, whatever you can grab. And then we'll take the left hand to the ear like you're holding up a telephone. And you want to find some height first. So we'll inhale here, lifting up tall. And then on the exhale, you'll start to lower your head just slightly towards your right knee. And then pointing your left elbow up. And then we'll inhale, lift up. And then as you exhale, you'll dunk the head a little bit lower, but we're not pushing on our neck and head. We're gently influencing our head down to our opposite knee. And then one more, inhale, lift. Exhale. This time we'll hold. And you'll hang out here and breathe. Close your eyes. Start to feel the sensations. Push your left knee a little bit into your right hand for opposition, so you feel like you're really solid in this side bend. And then let your next inhale bring you all the way up nice and tall. Open your eyes and we'll change sides. So now the left hand will go across. You'll find the knee or the shin of the opposite leg. And then taking the right hand to the ear. We want to look straight ahead. We don't want to look up or turn our neck in any sort of way right here. We're going to find some height as we inhale. And then as you exhale, slowly start to lower. And you can keep your eyes closed. Inhale, lift up tall through the spine. And then exhale, bring your head a little bit lower to the opposite knee. Elbow wide. One more inhale, lift. And then this next time we exhale and we stay down a little bit longer here. Pressing with your right knee into the opposite hand for opposition. So you feel stable while we stay in this deep side stretch. And then gently lifting back up. And opening the eyes, and then we're going to come into butterfly pose. So we'll bring the soles of the feet to touch. And you'll take a moment to feel your sitting bones. So if you rock back and forth, you'll feel those bones we sit on, those are your sitting bones. And so we'll walk the feet in a little bit. But not a lot. If you're really, really flexible, it's not necessary to come in really close. We want to have a little bit of space between our heels and our sitting bones. And then we'll very slowly start to melt our spine a little bit at a time over our legs. So you're inching your way into this pose rather than folding and staying. It's very much a transition. And then we'll stay right about our halfway point. So I could definitely go further, right? But we're backing out of this pose quite a lot, and we want to feel a little bit less sensation and a little bit more focus on our breath and our body. So as you stay here, can you breathe into your hips? Breathe into the back of the lungs. Back of the heart. Back of the neck. The whole back body. And then very slowly, like you have nowhere important to be, walk your hands in and slowly stack your spine up. And then open your eyes, and then from here we're going to lie on the belly. So you let your legs go long and very slowly, gently start to make your way onto your belly. We're kind of first start in Sphinx pose, and we can develop our stretch from here. But we're going to curl one set of toes under, lift that leg up and out, set that thigh down, and then the same with the second side. Curl the toes under, lift that thigh up and out, set it down, and then start to find a little bit of lift through your spine. And so there's a little bit of compression across your kidney band, the back, that low back. And so this is good. This stimulates your kidneys. This is good for releasing toxins. But if you want a little bit more, if you feel like you have a little bit more range, you'll walk your hands forward an inch and you'll lift up onto the palms. And then feel what that's like. And can you relax your toes, relax your glutes, and soften in your belly here. If it feels like you're holding on for dear life, then that's probably a good indicator to come back to Sphinx pose and just stay a little bit lifted here. So we'll hold either one, we'll hold it for about 5 breaths. And then can you start to let your pelvis broaden? Let your glutes soften even more. Feel your back teeth part, your belly soften with each exhale. And very slowly, this is our last breath. We'll slowly lower all the way down to the belly. Stacking one hand over the other. Resting the forehead on your hands, and then just shaking out any tension that was created in the low back. Good, and then coming up. So we're going to come up, and we're going to transition into a child's pose. So we're going to take our knees the width of our mat, our big toes together, and you'll sit back. And this is a more passive approach to child's pose today. So we'll take our forehead to the mat. Take one arm and just rest it long by your feet. Let that shoulder relax. And then the same with the second arm. And then just softening into the floor. Just letting the floor hold you rather than you tensing and holding yourself on the mat. Can there be a surrender, a really big surrender here? So thinking again about your kidneys, can you imagine as you inhale, you're puffing up your kidney band, and that's basically the low back region. And then as you exhale, you're letting the kidneys relax to the earth. One more breath. Inhale. And exhale. All right, we're going to come out of our shell. So if you ever have a hard day and you're just stressed, just come into this. Come into your child's pose. There's nothing like coming into your shell and just hanging there. So we're going to slowly come up. And now we're going to come to seated. We're going to do a couple things seated. So if you have a blanket and you want to use a folded blanket under your hips, that elevates your hips a little bit, and so it's a little bit easier to sit taller. So I would recommend, if you have a blanket, use it here. We're going to go ahead and take the right sole of our foot to our left inner thigh. And then we'll again widen our sitting bone. So you'll lean to one side, widen your right sitting bone out, and then lean to your right sitting bone, widen the left sitting bone out. So there's a little bit more spaciousness. And then we'll find a tall spine here from those rooted sitting bones. There's this lift through the center of the body up. And then keeping that lift, we're staying long, we're just going to very slowly fold forward. So you're going to softly walk your fingers down your mat. And then you'll pause about halfway and breathe. And then see, could you go a little further and still breathe deeply, or are you at your max? So we want to find just enough sensation that we can stay and breathe. And then little by little, it's like we're going through our whole body and turning off those little places that feel tense or tight or stagnant, and we're focusing on those areas by breathing into those areas. So wherever you're noticing sensation, so I'm feeling the back of my left leg, I imagine my breath can breathe into the back of my left leg. And what happens is that sensation can dissipate a little bit and start to soften and let go. But it takes patience. So Yin Yoga is the practice of patience as well. It's many things. Meditation, patience, tractioning connective tissue and bone. And then slowly we come up. Take our hands back. And then stretch yourself long and just pause. Let yourself hang here. All right, second side. So we're going to make our right leg straight here. And that being said, we don't ever lock out our joints. That's just a way to disconnect from our body. It's really not good for your joints. So there's just going to be the tiniest little micro bend in our right leg here. And then we'll bring the left sole of the foot to the inner thigh. And then we'll start to rock a little side to side. So we're finding a groundedness in the back of our pelvis. We want to feel heavy. We want to feel heavy in our bones here. And so this is a way to feel, like, can I feel my right sitting bone? Can I feel my left sitting bone? And then start to fold. And this side could feel very different. You might have a limited range or a different range here. So you want to honor that. If you're feeling a little tighter on this side, back out of the pose and just give yourself just enough sensation. And then we'll pause and linger in this pose. Imagine you can breathe in between your shoulder blades. Breathing in between or in the mid-back. And then finally breathing all the way down into the low back and pelvis. And softly coming up, walking the hands in. Leaning back on our hands, taking the legs long and just pausing here. And then blinking our eyes open. So then we have one more pose before Shavasana. And it's a double leg version of what we just did. So we're going to walk our right sitting bone back and then our left sitting bone back. And I would do that one more time. It really gets your pelvis where it needs to be in space. And then we'll find lift, inhaling here. And then the same thing, as you exhale, you're going to slowly just start to walk yourself forward. Now I'm keeping a pretty generous bend in my knees. You could bend more if that feels like it softens your low back, or anywhere in between. But we want to stay away from this, locking out the knees. Okay, so continuing, folding forward. I'm keeping a little bit of activity in my feet as I'm transitioning into the forward fold. And then you can slowly start to turn off all those little places that feel held. So the feet relax, The back of the neck relaxes. The low back softens. Middle back, nice and soft, nice and open. The fingertips are pushing into the ground just enough that you feel supported, but you're not creating tension in the shoulders. And then go ahead and open your jaw by parting the back teeth. You could even fake a yawn here. That relaxes the jaw instantly if you're not sure. And then we'll walk our hands back in. Stack our spine up, and then open your eyes, and we'll lie on our backs. So scooching forward, and then very slowly lying all the way down. And before we come all the way into Shavasana, I just want to thank you for taking time out of your day to practice. Namaste.